Okay, good. I was worried. My readers weren't didn't look like they were showing up, and then it looked like nobody was showing up to watch them read, and that made me start to think, "Ooh, this could be bad." But now I see I don't have either. Hmm. Hmm. It was appear that no one is out there. Hmm. Well, this is going to be an interesting evening because when we invited the folks to come on and read or have their stories read, it was like, that's good. And then one of our readers said they didn't think they could because they misunderstood the time. Hmm. And hello, I've got an audience member showed up. So who's here? Branch into the comments and let me know. Because by gosh, where one or more is gathered to listen, there will be reading. So, all I see is that you're here, and so I will just go on with this. My name is Bob Brown. I run B Cube Press. About 5 years ago, we decided to put out a book called Alternative Theology, Parables for the Modern World. And it was a fun book to put out. Phyllis Irene Radford was one of our editors, was our primary editor along with me. And we had intended to put out something that was slightly mocking and going to be um, have a little bit of snark to it. And then this woman named Heather Truett. Uh, Heather Truett uh, wrote a story that was phenomenal, that just totally changed what we decided to do. And so the the single watcher I have out there on the B Cube Press page. I believe you're on the YouTube page. We are going to give you a reading, not by Heather, but of Heather's work, because so just let me say hello, watcher. Glad to see you here. Oh, now there's two of you. I like that even better. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up my copy of the book. And here we go. Uh, I'm going to, we're back down to one again. But here we go. Heather Truett. The book is from Alternative Theologies, published about 5 years ago by B Cube Press, edited by myself and Irene Radford, by Heather Truett. It's it's early. I like to watch the sunrise. Strange how, as a kid, I took the sun for granted. It would always be there, and I would always be here, and that was how things were. Now, I'm counting down the sunrises. 365, I say. I know, and it's beautiful, isn't it? Maybe more beautiful than yesterday's. No, I say yesterday's had purple. I don't see any purple today. He knows how I love purple. Purple, he says? I gasp. We've been together for 18 years now, and I'm still startled by him, by what he can do. I sigh. Each one is more beautiful than the last because there's now one less. We're quiet for a while. The sun burns, but I don't want to go inside, not yet. Not while the purple is still in the sky. A handful of neighborhood boys walk past. There's a time when children were kept safe inside their homes. Excuse me. There was a time when children were kept safe inside their homes at night, but most run free now. What does it matter anyway? That's what some of these people think. Most couples don't have babies anymore. Why bother? The little boy at the head of the pack points in my direction. I can see the other kids snickering. Every morning, one of them asks, his voice loud for the quiet street. Yep, every morning with that empty chair beside her. She even talks to it like somebody's really there. Crazy, the loud kid says. I sigh. Why can't they see you? Oh, they'll see me soon enough when I'm not here for them. But I'm not here for them right now. This is always his answer. Won't you miss this? I ask. I don't have to miss anything, he says. He is patient. I often repeat myself to make him repeat those answers over and over as though something could change. Nothing will change, and tomorrow I will count 364 sunrises left before the end. Your concept of time is an illusion, Emmy. You only have 364 sunrises left, but I have all of the sunrises, all of the sunsets, and every noonday from behind and before you. All of them are on now. I like it when you talk that way, I tell him. I like thinking that there is now and tomorrow and now, and there is no ending after all. Why don't you stop it? Because the earth's time has come. This is always his answer. Once the sun is high over the horizon, We walk into the house, the tiny two-bedroom mill house where I was born, where my parents lived and cared for me until the day I turned 10 years old. Happy birthday, Emmy. The world is ending and you're on your own now. Maybe that isn't exactly how they said it, but events unfolded that way regardless. One day I was a happy 9 year old girl planning a sleepover with my best friend Lillian. The next day, Lillian and her family disappeared completely, and my own parents weren't far behind. I could have gone with them, I guess. They wanted to take me to the hills, to the bunkers being stocked and fortified in the bowels of the earth. I cried. I didn't want to go. I liked my pink bedroom and my dark wood bookshelves and my pretty white dollhouse. I wouldn't go. Just leave her, my dad said. There's only so much room. My dad wasn't a nice man, but he wasn't evil either. He was just scared and selfish. And mom had never disobeyed him, never. So why would she start then, with the world set to crumble at her feet? What did any of it matter now? I'll take care of her, the man said. He hadn't been there before, but suddenly he was. He was standing beside me on the front porch, one hand on the splintered rail and one hand on my shoulder. My mother didn't quite look at him, she only looked at me. Dad had to force her into the car and she was screaming, but I had quit crying. I wasn't scared anymore. Who are you? I asked when my parents' car disappeared in the distant hill. My name is Jesus. Your grandmother told me all your grandmother told me all about her sweet girl, Emmy, and I've been waiting for the chance to meet you. My grandmother had passed away just the month before. My mom's mom, she was. And Dad said she spoiled me. She didn't like my dad. But there wasn't much he could do. I pray for you all the time, she said once. I pray that Jesus will take care of you when I'm gone. I nodded. Graham told me about that too. While the world was going crazy outside my doors and windows, Jesus taught me how to play chess and checkers. I read for him from my favorite books, stories of a girl named Annie who always got into trouble in a land called Oz, where fairies really lived and evil witches got melted in the end. He told me stories too, stories about rainbows and a place where every kind of food grew and the people were happy. I didn't leave the little house for a year. I never wondered where Jesus got our food. He made me eggs for breakfast every day, and he pulled loaves of fresh bread from the oven. The fruit bowl on the kitchen table was always overflowing with apples and bananas and grapes, and even some exotic fruits I had never seen before. I remember my first slice of kiwi and how I marveled when he showed me the star fruit. After the first year, things calmed down around us. Some of the neighbors came back to their homes. Many of the houses had been burned down and burglarized. I took a walk with Jesus. Sometimes we stopped and he could wrap his arms around a crying lady or kiss the cheeks of a newborn. Life always wants to go on, he tells me, when I comment on the baby still being born. On my block, our block, my house was the only house untouched. Neighbors marveled. How had I stayed safe? Where was I getting food? How come no one had broke into my little house? Jesus takes care of me, I explained. But that only made them shake their heads. And by the time I turned 18, the neighborhood was full again, but people were never the same, and my parents never returned. No one spoke to me save an elderly woman who lived across the street. She used to come over with a cup of coffee in the mornings, and that was before I started watching the sunrises. Actually, she was the person who suggested we mark the days that way, sort of like paper chains I used to make before Christmas. Each day I ripped off one of the construction paper link until all of them were gone and Santa Claus would come at last. The sunrises are different. I love each beautiful day, but I mourn it too. I know they will not ever come again. When I was small, there was always another year, another paper chain, another Christmas. But this won't be like that. 300 sunrises left. I break the charm link in my mind. Jesus pours me another cup of coffee. I give him the paper to read while I scramble eggs on the stove. I still never go to the grocery store, but now I know enough to marvel at the presence of food in my home. I hear the doorknob turn, and there's Liza, an adorable blonde child who lives 3 blocks away. She comes to see me every morning now. I have her place set, and I scoop the eggs onto her plate. Jesus passes her the still warm bread. I used to worry about Lisa walking here by herself. After all, that pack of boys roams the street at all hours, and a few of them have been known to accost young women. You aren't scared to walk all that way? I asked when she'd been coming for a week or so. No, I'm not scared. Why would I be scared? When I was a little girl, walking by myself like that would have scared me, I told her. But Emily said, I don't walk here by myself. You don't? No, silly, she laughed. Jesus walks with me every morning. Maybe someone else would point out that Jesus was in my little house during that time, and Lisa walked the 3 blocks alone. But I didn't. Actually, having lived with Jesus for 18 years, it's sad that I didn't realize he was with Lisa at the same time he was with me. Do you stay with Lisa a lot? I asked Jesus after she'd gone home on the day of the 300th sunrises. Not as much as I have with you. Lisa's mom takes very good care of her. I just go when she walks. She likes people, our Lisa does. She loves them with my whole heart. And I know what he means. I've seen Lisa sneak bread into her bag before she leaves my house. I know she takes it across down the road to Mrs. McAllister. And in the afternoons, Jesus and I take lunch to the very same woman. She's old. She was old even 18 years ago, and she can't get around real well. Her husband died last year, and she says she's missing him, ready for those last months to pass so she can be with him again. After visiting Mrs. McAllister, we walked to the old church a few miles into town. It's an orphanage now. The woman who works there smiles when she sees me coming. They don't notice that Jesus is with me, but when I tell them he is, they always seem happy to know it. You are his hands and his feet, Emily, one of the women said to me years ago. I'm not your hands and feet, I told Jesus when we were going home. You are, though, he replied. You can't see me standing here, but they see me when you give them food, when you walk all this way to tell stories to the children. You are all they see of me. One, I say. Just one day left. Are you ready? He asks. No, I tell him. I don't want to leave the babies or Lisa or Miss McAllister. You won't be leaving them. Jesus sips his first cup of coffee of the day. He likes a spoonful of sugar but no cream. They'll come too. Is it going to hurt? Perhaps, he said, but it'll be over fast and I'll be right here beside you. What will become of this place? I wanted to know that question for a long time. He knows, but he's been waiting for me to get the courage. He doesn't do things for me, Jesus. He gave me a brain and expects me to use it. Do you remember the awful fires that broke out years ago, the big ones that came after the announcement? That's what everybody called it, the announcement. They mean when political leaders around the world stood side by side and explained what was going to happen, how hopeless the situation was, and that everyone would die. There was nothing they could do. It would take an act of God, our president told the American people, and my dad was already packing. Mom was watching the TV screen filled with despair. They didn't have much use for God yesterday, Mrs. Graham would say, but they expect him to save them today. I remember the fires, I say. What happened when they burned out? Nothing at first, I answered, but then things grew. Photos were on the news. People thought it was a sign of hope. And so it was, still is. How so? The Earth's time has come, Emmy, but there will be other times, and green blossomed Earth will spin anew. There will be hope. One, I say again. It's a beautiful one, isn't it? I smirk. I think it needs more purple. And Jesus laughs. Well, you guys may notice that I am not the best reader in the world, but Heather Truett is a wonderful writer. That story carries elements that I've seen in the fellow who wrote the Martian Chronicles, but it's so incredibly original, and I can't imagine what how comforting it must have been. So that said, since we have a couple of you guys out there watching, I apologize to Heather for any oops I put into her um, story, because any of the fault is mine, not hers. She is a brilliant writer. Now, let me go find the other story that was scheduled for reading tonight, and maybe I'll do a better job on that. So bear with me. Now, this is from by Meg B. She's from a small town in southern Utah, where she's always been like a fish out of water, she said in her bio. Whether she's rocking blue tights with combat boots or fishnets under ripped jeans, Megan does the electric boogaloo to the beat of her own drum. She's a writer, a voracious reader, a lover of red lipstick and all things vintage. The recipient of several awards, including the Lorenzo Snow Award and a Utah Press Association Award for her work as a journalist. Megan's two collections of poetry, Mermaid in the Valley and Junkyard Princess, explore the themes of grief and discovering what happens when you stop being nice and start getting real. And for the heck of it, let me look up Heather Truett's biography. Here we go. Heather Truett is a writer, a mother, a somewhat heretical pastor's wife. Her credits include The Mom. The Mom Egg. Vine Leaves Literary, Tipton Poetry Journal, Drunk Monkeys, Panoply Time, and Young Adult Review Network. She sounds like a wonderful person. Now, let me get back to finding Meg's story. Now, you guys might enjoy this book. It's got my last story I ever bought from Mike Resnick. And I found it a great story. Of course, I found all of these great stories. This one's called Dear Mary, Are You There? Uh, Megan B. It's just a sweet poem. Hail Mary, most merciful mother, hear my cries. You who bore the Son of God, welcomed his lusty cries as a God made man took his first breath. You who watched that Son, both flesh of your flesh and yet also flesh of ours, take his last breath. Blessed are thou who continued to live after such a loss. Please, Mary, mother of all mothers, surely you can offer some advice on how to continue breathing while knowing your child is no longer on the same planet as you. How do you keep believing in miracles and goodness when you've witnessed such broken sadness? How come the Bible doesn't tell of your suffering? Are we to believe that you just magically okay after your son was ripped away from you, supposedly for the suffering of all mankind? But at what expense? I said, what about your suffering? Are we to think that you didn't weep bitter hot tears, that you didn't want to punch anyone who had the audacity to say he's in a better place now? Because if that's the case, I'd really like to know how you did it, how you held it together when you were faced with the idea of never seeing your son. As you had known him again, and don't give me that whole faith business because, look, Mary, we're sisters here. And it really doesn't mean anything because no matter how you look at it, he's still a festering, oozing, empty wound piercing your side. Maybe you didn't wake in the middle of the night swearing you heard your son crying out, asking why he's been forsaken, but surely you heard me in the middle of the night, curled into a ball on the bathroom floor, begging to take my child's place. If only she could come back. And if only you didn't hear me then. I know you have to hear the prayers on that first star to give me a sign that she is okay, but more, a sign that I am okay also. Because, lady, I tell you, I'm pretty sure I'm not. If the stars that railroad up and down my arms and legs are any indication, fine is the last thing I am, though I lie well when others ask. How are you, they say, with pity dripping down the backs of their throat, honeyed words spilling from their lips. Fine, I say, I'm fine. I nod numbly when they remind me that my child, the flesh of my chest, flesh, is in a better place. I clench my fists at my sides and bite my cheeks until they bleed when they remind me of my other children. At least they start to say, and I swear my soul leaves their body. I am an empty vessel into which they can pour their cherry cough syrup words. That they are meant to coat my soul, but instead they just make me choke. Mary, please, I beg of you, give me the eternal sunshine because I cannot take the memory of her birth. I cannot take the memory of her death. Mother me through this, stroke my hair, and feed me hot tea, and promise me that I will not always feel so broken and scared. Promise me I will not always feel so helpless as I do when I awake, and remember that my child is not in the pretty cradle in the corner. My child is in a morgue, cold and alone, and I am in her nursery. Her bed is cold, and I am alone. Mary, you have left me all alone. I cry out to you. Why have I been forsaken? You reply with silence. Your statue eyes stare back at me from my dollar store candles. Why? Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. But I have carved your image into my thigh, called your name with grovelly knees, and still you have abandoned me here. Yesterday I thought I saw God. He was standing on the corner with a shopping cart full of garbage, talking to himself, and I thought, now there's a guy who has it all together. There's a deity I can get behind. And so I did. Now, I see we have observers. That is the extent of me torturing the words that these wonderfully, powerful writers have written. And I can only say the book's name is Alternative Theology, Parables from the Modern Age. And if you have any comments or thoughts, please share them with us on the screen. This is a fairly new thing we're doing here at B Cubed, and I am happy to see those of you who are here, and I hope you enjoy it. And that said, um, if you want to leave a comment, please do. And if you don't feel obligated. Those were stories that you could tell. I know how difficult they were to read because um, we're all human and we have our human feelings. We have suffered losses of our own, and to know that and to wonder how the people make it through them is very it's just it's terrible. I can still remember when my sister lost her son. It was she just um, she suffered through the pain of it, and she suffered through the pain of the people who somehow blamed her because it happened. And those people, they can't help themselves. They're no better than they are, and they're just what they are. So that said, uh, I'm going to end the stream now and say thank you. Good night.